Sometimes, exploring means following a fellow stone site investigator's lead. I'm author and researcher Mike Luoma. In early May, Josh Smart led me to a few sites he's found in the Mount Ascutney area. A stone chamber with a curious enclosure, a mysterious stone vault open to the sky, a split boulder, small circles of stones, and more, including a couple of stone rows with water running through them. I'll share these with you in this video presentation. I won't be sharing specific locations, as these are not my finds. We didn't set foot on the mountain itself. Still, Ascutney loomed above as we toured the sites. Early on, we saw a possible standing stone Josh pointed out resembled the mountain. The Abenaki call Kaskadanak, that which is a wide mountain, or mountain of the rocky summit. The remnants of a former volcano, Ascutney stands alone. A monadnock, not part of the Green Mountains, instead related to the more volcanic White and Ossipee Mountains of New Hampshire. As we surveyed some impressive old stone rows, Josh pointed out that all the stonework in this area seems to occur above 600 feet of elevation. This was also the height of the glacial Lake Hitchcock, which filled the Connecticut River Valley at the end of the Ice Age. The two could be connected. The other end of this stone row terminates in a split boulder. This could be an effigy row, with the split boulder perhaps representing the head of a serpent. We headed up the side of a small mountain nearby to check out some old stone rows, some of which ran vertically up the side of the mountain. Up on the ridge, this row runs off a bedrock escarpment. Water runs beneath it from a spring above. A climb up onto the escarpment gave another view of the stone row and the water. There's a small ceremonial circle of stones up here, and possible large-scale great serpent stonework as well. Josh then pointed out another small circle of stones just up the ridge, arranged like a ceremonial campfire. This stone row keeps going. A power line runs along the ridge, and they've left the stonework beneath the power lines intact, for the most part, as they built and maintained them. Josh checked local records, and nothing much was ever supposed to be up here, aside from a semi-abandoned old hunting camp. The area was logged, as was much of Vermont. The state lost 80% of its forest growth by the beginning of the 20th century. Most of what we see now is new growth. These walls seem to have effigy shapes throughout. The rounded forms and flowing designs instead of even-laid courses. The use of boulders and bedrock. The way it wends and winds and follows the curves of the landscape. So many things suggest these are effigy forms, as opposed to simply stone walls. We next made our way up this roaring mountain stream to see a stone row seemingly built over the running water. Though obviously deteriorated, form and function here seem to indicate this was built to channel water. It's also kind of beautiful. And Josh has discovered even more water-involved stone rows in the region, built to channel and guide water flow down the mountainsides. That it has withstood years of water flow attests to the possibility it was built for this. This seems even more evident when viewed from upstream, where we can see the solid, constructed embankment, as if this was meant to be a water wall. After, a short drive brought us to this odd stone construction. That is a smooth wall of stone in this sort of open-air, stone-lined vault. It has a strange design. It doesn't appear to be a home foundation. So, what is it? Our next stop was a pleasant surprise. I didn't know we'd be seeing a stone chamber. According to Josh, folks from NERA, the New England Antiquities Research Association, investigated this chamber, its enclosing structure, and some possibly related ceremonial stoneworks nearby in the past. The chamber's age wasn't determined, but the walls around it were said to be built later, the foundation of a tavern built around and above the chamber so it could be used as a cooler. The chamber has an ancient feel to it. Josh said it's oriented to the winter solstice sunrise. And though the surrounding walls were clearly turned into a foundation, there are places where non-linear, possible effigy work remains, suggesting portions may be much older. Let's look inside. It's a sturdy old chamber. This may be a little niche up here in the back corner. As contradictory as it perhaps sounds, I still find there's something a bit ethereal about stone chambers. This stone structure built into a hillside was one of our last stops for the day. It's at a height where it could simply be an embankment for a pre-1927 road. After the Great Flood that year, many washed-out roads were rebuilt at about 20 feet higher elevation, and the current road is about that much higher up from here. There's also an old foundation just a ways down on what would have been this road. But the more I looked at these stones, and the closer I got, the less inclined I was to just write it off as a 19th century roadwork. There are some interesting, possible forms here. Many thanks again to Josh Smart for showing me around to these sites. Josh sometimes shares finds in my Facebook group, Ancient Stone Mysteries of New England. You can find more pictures and video from this visit there, and more features as well, like a possible fish effigy. And a Manitou stone. I'm author and researcher Mike Luoma. Thank you for joining me in experiencing these stoneworks around the Mount Ascutney area.